Hey guys, it's Megan. So one of the top questions that I get from you guys is how can I get better at art? And I actually got an email a couple weeks ago from a girl named Miriam, shout out to her, and in this email, she was telling me how she thinks she's not good at art and like she wishes that she had good art supplies like the YouTubers that she watches, which I totally get where she's coming from. When I started out, I was not great, but I've learned a lot since then. So today I thought it would be fun to go through my top 15 tips to help you improve your art. And I'll be redrawing one of the first original characters that I ever drew on my channel. I think I did this one back in 2018. I know for a fact that this was from my first 5 ways to fill your sketchbook video, and I think that the prompt was to draw a character based on a food. So my number one tip, the most important thing to remember when you're trying to improve your art, your only competition is you. I know that it's so easy to compare yourself to people on social media. Frankly, this doesn't just apply to art, but that's a conversation for another day. A lot of these people that you see on social media, they literally draw for a living. Like, they've been practicing for years. Also, like, half the art YouTubers that I know or like know of literally went to art school. I personally did not. I studied business administration, which, side note, literally the most boring thing ever. Well, maybe not the most boring, but still, art would have been so much more fun. No matter how old you are, I think that it is never too late to learn and you can always improve. I might not be that good compared to like drawing with waffles or something, but compared to myself 4 years ago, let's face it, I'm amazing. My next tip is one of those things that should be obvious, but for some reason, I feel like a lot of the art people online have a thing about drawing without references. Like, for the love of God, people, just use a freaking reference. Like, people will be like, oh, it's cheating if you use a reference. Like, I don't know who decided that that's cheating, but like, they're officially canceled. If you don't need a reference, cool, good for you, but I really don't think there's anything wrong with using them either. Although, to be fair, I never really consider myself like a serious artist, so maybe that's why I don't get it. When I first started drawing, I started by copying drawings that had line art, which I know is frowned upon, but doing that helped me build up my skills. So eventually I got to the point where I am now, where I can look at a couple different images and combine them together to make something totally different, which is kind of the end goal with references. They're not there for you to copy line by line. They're just there to give you a general idea of the shape that you need to draw. But if you need to work up to that, I think that's okay too. Something that I like to do is to use myself as a reference. I think it really helps if you try to get good at drawing yourself. Like for this drawing, here's all the different reference images that I used. I couldn't find a reference with the exact pose that I wanted, so I sort of like posed my own arm, and I'm holding a lint roller, but like obviously in the drawing she's holding an ice cream cone. It's so much easier to just do that instead of trying to find like the exact thing that you need online. I'm sure people might argue that that would like make all of your drawings look the same, but if you do art as more of a hobby like I do, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I know, like if all your drawings look the same, I don't care. I don't know, I know a big thing is like a bunch of people, they only draw women, but like if you're not gonna be an illustrator, why do you need to know how to draw other stuff? But tip number 4 is to try out different art styles. Once you've tried out a few, you can try taking things that you like about other people's art and combining them to create your own sort of style. This is another thing where the freaking art Karens will come out and they'll be like, don't copy my art style or else, in their Instagram, and it's like, half of the time, these people, they just draw generic girls like I do. No shade towards myself, you know, I never said I was trying to be a professional. All I said was I'd tell you how I improved. And side note, it's totally okay if you don't have a specific style yet either. I feel like that's one of those things that just comes naturally when you stop trying to force it. My style tends to evolve a little bit more with each drawing, and I'm sure it will continue to evolve in the future. Going along with that, another thing that helped me improve my art was experimenting with different supplies. I've tried so many different art supplies in the past couple years. I know that I'm lucky that I have the budget to do so, but I feel like art supplies have become so much more accessible with the increased prevalence of online shopping. Also, like, I'm an adult and I have my own money now, so like that helps too. I started out using crayons and colored pencils, but I found those to be a little bit too time consuming to get the look that I wanted. If you go back and watch my older videos, you'll see that I tried a lot of different mediums, and I eventually found that my favorites were alcohol-based markers and acrylic paint. That's another thing. At least for your first sketchbook, try to get one with mixed media paper. Like I said, I tend to combine alcohol-based markers with acrylic paint. Usually I'll draw the focal point with markers, then do the background with paint. Although, now that I've gotten a little bit more confident with the markers, I've actually been doing more drawings with just markers. See what I mean? Your style will probably evolve as your skills improve. Tip number 7 is my personal favorite, which is to use drawing prompts. As many of you know, I have a whole series about different ways to fill your sketchbook on my channel. Shameless self-promo, the link's in the description. What I do is I have a list on my phone that I'll add to when I come up with a new idea. You could try that, or you could maybe dedicate a page in your sketchbook for writing down ideas. These are always fun because they can help you to avoid getting bored with it. I kind of like coming up with my own prompts better than filling out like prompt books, because even though prompt books can be fun sometimes, there's always pages that like you're not really feeling or you can't really figure out what to do for. Case in point, my unfinished Wreck This Journal and unfinished Create This Book, and I never finished anything. But comment down below, do you have any drawing prompt suggestions? Another thing you can do is to follow drawing tutorials. You can find loads of drawing tutorials online. Tip number 9 is to save your old drawings. Even if you think they suck, don't throw them away. I promise you, one day you're going to want to have those to look back on. If you don't have room to save physical copies, you can at least take pictures of things so you can look back and see how far you've come. I think it's so cool to look back at my old sketchbook videos, even if they are a bit cringy. But can we just take a second? I'm gonna pat myself on the back real quick, because not only has my art gotten better, but my voiceovers have improved so much. I feel like I sound a little more natural now. I used to get a lot of comments being like, oh, you sound like a robot. Like, it's so stressful trying to do these voiceovers sometimes. Like, I don't know why. I do take the constructive criticism to heart. So there's that. What I always say is it's not a hate comment if they're right. Another thing that I think is really helpful is to date your work. If you don't want to put the date on every page, I've also seen people do a page at the beginning where they write a start and an end date. I think that's a good idea. But I think it's helpful to know when you drew things, so when you look back at them again, you can see how far you've come. Which brings me to my next tip. Try to redraw the same thing every once in a while to see how much you've improved or how your style's evolved. I think Drawing with Waffles actually does this, if I remember right. I think she draws Rapunzel every year. Personally, I do not exactly do this on like a consistent basis like that, because we all know consistency is not exactly my specialty, but I am redrawing something in this video, so, you know, it kind of counts. I think I sort of did this unintentionally in a way though. I'm pretty sure almost every year around Halloween, I've drawn Wednesday Addams, which, side note, have you watched Wednesday on Netflix yet? I just finished it, finally. I was watching it with my mom, so I got through it a little bit slower than I typically would, but I really liked it. I hope they get a second season. I really want to get, or maybe even try to make, Wednesday's necklace. It's literally perfect because my initials are MW and it's a W that flips to an M. Like, I need it. Another tip that I have for you guys is to use a fairly cheap sketchbook so that you won't be afraid to mess it up. Well, don't make it too cheap, because you want the paper to be thick enough like that you will actually want to use it. Like, I know cheap is relative, but as someone who filled like 3 pages of a $30 sketchbook, just trust me, buy the $10 one. Kind of going along with that, especially if you do a lot of full color illustrations like I do, you might want to consider keeping like a quote unquote ugly sketchbook where you can quickly jot down ideas. I know a lot of people just keep everything in one, which that's great if that works for you, but since I post my sketchbook on the internet, I like having a private book where I can just do like really quick messy sketches. I don't know if you could even consider them sketches, honestly. Like, it's more like ideas that I have that could not be explained in words in the notes app on my phone. My next tip is sort of an unconventional one, but it's to learn how to do your makeup. And the reason that I say this is, one, because it's true. I realize that as my art has gotten better, so have my like makeup skills, and vice versa. The thing that made this click for me was seeing James Charles draw. Did you know James Charles can draw? And he's like really good too. Like, I don't really know what he's up to now. I know he like had some scandals. I don't really watch his videos regularly, but I saw that one time and it was like, everything makes sense now. I guess this is more of a tip for coloring rather than drawing, but this is especially true if you practice doing like face makeup. Foundation, contour, highlighter, blush, I promise you, getting better at that will make you better at coloring faces, I guarantee it. My last tip is super generic, I'm sorry, but the most important thing that you can do if you want to get better at art is to just practice. The truth of the matter is, if you don't practice, you're not going to improve. Now, listen. I totally get it. If you've been here for a while, you probably realized I'm not exactly the most consistent. I saw this TikTok the other day, and in this TikTok, he was kind of like, bestie, let's be real, you're not going to stick to a habit. So instead of beating yourself up about it when you inevitably fail, you just gotta be like, hey, haven't done this for a while. Probably should pick that back up again. If you're one of those people that can be like, I'm gonna draw every single day for a whole month, and then you actually do it, like, that is amazing. I'm so jealous. But for the rest of us, I'm here to tell you it's okay if you don't draw every day. Or heck, even every month. My current sketchbook, which I'm almost done with, by the way, I have like 8 pages left. I started it 2 years ago. And it's only 60 pages. It should not take that long, but here we are. 1 down, 7 more to go. So here's how my updated drawing turned out. What do you guys think? Have my drawing skills improved at all? Let me know what you think of this style of video where I'm just kind of like talking and then drawing in the background. I really hope that you guys like stuff like this because I want to find videos that are a little bit faster to make so that I can post more in 2023. As much as I love doing the complicated ones with like 10 projects per video, they're getting a little bit harder to keep up with as I get older and like have more responsibilities. I'll still do them, of course. I just kind of want to have other stuff that I can do too, so I can post more than 2-3 times a month. So if you have any topic suggestions for future videos, make sure to leave them down below because I love talking to you guys and I really want to do it more. And I think that's everything for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos just like this one. My merch, my website, and all of my social media will be linked down below. I love you guys so much and I will see you guys later. Bye!